Starting off our list today at number 10, we have alopecia. Just after the 2022 Oscars, the internet couldn't stop talking about the hair loss condition Jada Pinkett Smith is suffering from. With her journey of alopecia being openly documented, TikTok and Reddit users have gone on to prove that the star is lying about her condition. With users debating over images Jada has shared of her bald scalp when she was talking about her hair loss in a video shared on TikTok by Mariah Campbell, along with the caption, "Here is my celebrity conspiracy." The content creator can be heard saying, "I think she's completely lying about having alopecia because she's a cheater and wants people to focus on other things." Mariah then went on to say alopecia is patches, smooth patched, where the hair follicles don't grow, and she then started showing images of examples where viewers can see the type of round patches she's talking about. Mariah then went on to show a picture of Jada's head, where she pointed out that there's a line on her forehead, which the actress has explained in a previous video to be the result of her condition. Mariah then pointed out this line was most likely caused by cosmetic surgery and not alopecia. Her second argument would then prove that Jada was lying when she pointed out that if Jada had alopecia, she would have circular, bald patches, but she seems to have a lot of hair growth for someone who has alopecia, meaning she forced Will to smack Chris for no reason. Number 9. Racial bias reason. As we've all come to learn from the recent videos, it's that Jada Pinkett Smith hates white women with blonde hair, meaning she hates my very existence, especially now that I'm calling out for all of her lies. While Jada went on to explain her revelation back in 2018, she would sit down to discuss why seeing blonde hair on white women just triggers her, when she admitted to her own biases by saying, "I have to admit I'm guilty to that to a certain degree because I do have my own biases, specifically to blonde women. Blonde hair on white women just triggers me. I've had to catch myself." When her mother asked her if there was a specific incident that happened with someone who had blonde hair, the actress tried to claim that throughout her childhood she was teased by white women in regards to her hair and how she looked. But we all know she's just lying about why blonde hair women trigger her, as it's clearly just a sneak diss towards Margot Robbie. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss on what we might just cover next. Coming back to our list at number 8, we have the entanglement. Just after August Alsina came out to expose Jada for having an affair with her husband, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith would soon come out to deny the singer August Alsina's claims that they were in a long-term relationship for years while she was still married to Will. After August spoke publicly about being involved with Jada Pinkett Smith, reps would soon come out with a statement calling the claims absolutely not true. Shortly later, Jada would then head over to her social media accounts to state that there was a lot of pain that needed to be discussed and that she would be taking herself to her famous Facebook watch series, The Red Table Talk. During the conversation, we would learn that the entanglement was in fact true, despite what her representatives led the public to believe in the beginning when Jada admitted to the affair, and when it finally came out, it obviously was all lies, as she also claimed Will never gave the pair his blessing. However, August Alsina has nothing to lose when it comes to his affair, so why would he lie about the issue? Number 7, the Oscar slap. With the infamous Oscar slap being what's been talked about for over a year now, makes us wonder if this incident is ever going to fade away. Probably not. With footage emerging from the Oscars online, it would show Jada Pinkett Smith had a really odd reaction to her husband Will Smith smacking Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars, which suggests that she forced her husband to make a stand for her. When Chris made a joke about Jada playing G.I. Jane because of her bald head, Chris was reportedly unaware of the actress being diagnosed with alopecia. So while we went on to laugh at Chris' joke in the beginning after he saw his wife roll his eyes, things quickly took a sharp turn for the worse. With the event being telecast live, the moment was so intense it didn't show Jada's initial reaction to the slap, or any of the interactions between her and Will beforehand. But now, videos have surfaced online, and in them, Jada can be seen laughing after Will took to the stage to slap Chris before going on to act just as confused as the rest of the audience, which proves Jada is shady and manipulative. Number 6, relationship with Tupac. For years now, Jada has been lying to the public about how serious her relationship was with Tupac. And honestly, it's gone a little too far as she keeps running her mouth with imaginary stories of the late rapper that make no sense. And it's gotten to the point she's even made her children believe that she would be happier if Tupac was still alive, as Willow even once wrote to the late rapper when she was 11 years old claiming so. With Jada and Tupac's relationship dating all the way back to the 80s when the two attended the same college, Jada has constantly stated that her relationship with Tupac has been strictly platonic, but then she tends to make her presence known whenever he starts to trend again online, which suggests that Tupac was more than just a friend. Especially since after Tupac passed away, his friends would come out to say how much Jada destroyed him when she left him for Will. And since a lot of Tupac's friends have been disgusted by the way she uses his name to draw attention to herself. 5. Not being pregnant. So many actors have admitted to lying to get a gig, and Jada happens to be one of these people. As she once revealed when she was offered the role of Niobe in The Matrix Reloaded, she was pregnant and kinda lied so she could secure the job. After the actor explained why she lost out on the role of Trinity in the original film, as it came down to chemistry and she just had none when it came to acting with Keanu Reeves, she went on to explain that the Matrix directors were so impressed with Pinkett Smith that they created a role for her. But the role was actually supposed to go to Aaliyah in the beginning, not Jada. Though the role was later given to Jada, she would have lost out on part of it if she had been 100% truthful, as the actor was pregnant with her daughter Willow at the time filming was required. And her being due in November, there was a small problem. Her daughter was due the same month. The film was supposed to start filming, so she lied, saying her baby was coming in October, so she would be ready by the end of November. Luckily, Willow came at the end of October, or things could have been a real mess for the production team. Number 4, loving Will. Lately, it's been pretty clear that Jada Pinkett Smith has never loved Will Smith. Now, I get it. You're all probably wondering to yourselves how I may have came to this conclusion. Well, just let me explain. I came to this conclusion because she's had an entanglement, and then she went on to put all of her business out on the table while diving into everyone else's business in the process during multiple episodes on her infamous Facebook watch series The Red Table Talk. But think about it. If Jada seriously loved Will, like truly loved him, she would have never let him run up on the stage and smack Chris. She would have never laughed about the overall situation, and honestly, Will would be happy, but instead they both look miserable with each other. So it shows that when she says she loves Will, she's truly lying to Will and herself. Number 3, being a good parent. For years, Jada has been trying to convince the public that she nailed the whole parenting thing, and that the way she approaches things as a mother is how every mother should be approaching their child. However, when Jada brought her children, Jaden and Willow, on the Red Table Talk, they would open up about how hard it was for them to have Jada and Will as parents, and how they found it difficult to grow up in a famous family. To the point her kids felt like there was seriously not enough support when it came to their artistic careers, and they wished that their family could have noticed they were struggling and gave them support. Instead of admitting to the problem, Jada then went on to blame the whole thing on Will Smith, for noting that they had different parenting skills due to the fact that they grew up with different backgrounds. But how you grow up shouldn't affect the way you parent your children, as we all have control over our own actions, and people can't affect that. Number 2, not being a Scientologist. For years, Jada Pinkett Smith has been lying about how involved she is with Scientology, with former Scientology members confirming that not only was Jada involved in the controversial religion, they've also pointed out she was actually a recruiter for the organization. While the star has been known to visit the Scientology Center from time to time, she's even tried to claim that she was just at the church out of curiosity and wanted to learn what she wanted to learn, and she didn't think of herself as being a Scientologist. However, with the actress helping the church open the new Leadership Academy in her own home, it would later be revealed by teachers and parents who pulled their kids out of the school that the school's curriculum followed the teachings of Scientologists. And if the actor wasn't a Scientologist, then why did she force her husband not only to open the school with her, but allow the church to open the academy in one of their homes and put her own children in it? It adds up. Number 1, Chris Rock. Just after Chris Rock released his brutal Netflix Selective Outrage special, Jada Pinkett Smith would try to take aim at the comedian by saying he was obsessed with her. However, we all know this just isn't the truth, because who's obsessed with Jada Pinkett Smith? As she would have a close source come out to point out that she had nothing to do with the drama between Chris and her husband, and the only part she ever had in this mess was the fact that Chris heckled her. The source then went on to try to claim that Chris was so obsessed with her for almost 30 years by pointing out when he filmed the special it was in her hometown, and then he claimed how she should have been made fun of as she started this. As he argues, she should have quit the Oscars. I mean, Chris is hurt, but I don't think he's ever been obsessed with Jada. As compared to some of the other celebrities he's heckled, he says her name way less. It just seems like Jada's trying to use anyone at this point to help her play victim, and that's exactly what she's doing in this situation.
Starting this list First off, at number 10 is Brandy. We have seen celebrities fake relationships in the past as a publicity stunt, but this one was one that just went too far. The singer and actress announced back in 2002 that she had gotten secretly married to a music producer, Robert Smith. She said they had a private wedding and kept it small. The relationship went on to be featured in Diary Presents Brandy Special Delivery, which documented the birth of their daughter. Everything seemed to be genuine and normal, but in 2004 the truth came out and it was revealed that the two of them had split. Brandy went on the Oprah show and revealed that they had never actually been married in the first place and said that they lied. She was 6 months pregnant when she had gotten married, and she only lied about it because she didn't want people to judge her for having a child without being married. She ended up using her Oprah interview to issue a public apology. Is that forgivable? I mean, I don't care. What difference does it make? But I guess in the special, the show she had, it was all about their marriage and like baby, and it's like, you're not even married. Up next, number 9 is Jussie Smollett. His big lie was one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood in 2019, and it is still ongoing. Back in January of 2019, news articles started flooding with headlines that Jussie was involved in a hate crime after being attacked by 2 men. The reports claim that he was attacked with a rope around his neck and that they poured chemicals on him while yelling homophobic slurs. The 2 suspects were arrested, but in court they revealed that it was all set up by Jussie and showed a check that he had paid them to stage the entire thing. On February 21st, he was arrested on suspicion of filing a false police report and was charged with 6 counts of lying to police, all of which he pleaded not guilty to. But prosecutors ended up dropping all the charges. However, the Chicago police argued that he got away with it because of his celebrity status, so an investigation was opened and he is now set to head to trial. As of right now, at the time of this recording, reports say his lawyers have been given an additional 2 weeks to prepare their arguments. The tea. Swiping the number 8 spot is the White Stripes. Jack and Meg White were adored as band members in the famous rock band, but people thought they were siblings because that's what they told everyone. Turns out that is not true at all, and they were actually once married. A marriage license surfaced online revealing that they were married from 1996 to 2000. At first, the 2 of them denied the license was real and kept the whole sibling story, but then it was revealed to be real. Seems like a strange thing to lie about, in my opinion, right? Apparently the reason they lied is because they didn't think they would be taken seriously as musicians if they were a couple in the band, so they just told people that they were siblings and stuck to it. But how awkward would that have been if someone caught a picture or something of them kissing or holding hands or something? I don't know, I felt like that's so risky. Moving on to number 7, we have Kim Kardashian. She has been called out on numerous occasions for photoshopping her pictures, but it seems she took things a little too far in her latest Skims campaign. She released her ad for her shapewear brand Skims, and Kim can be seen drawing a finger over her hips and down into the dip of her waist. But as her finger trails down, it distorts and squiggles across the curve of her body. Immediately, people started calling her out, saying that there was a huge Photoshop fail and that it was very obvious, and questioned how she's selling a shapewear brand if she's going to sell it by photoshopping her body. Kim personally avoided the whole scandal like the plague, but her team removed the ad campaign and released a statement saying it was, I quote, an error as a result of the video losing its quality during the uploading process. No one bought that excuse, which was a straight up lie, because I work in film and I've had videos edited and I've edited videos and I've exported them, and that does not happen, even in the quality of the processing. Come on now. It didn't glitch anywhere else, just when she did it on her waist, y'all. Cruising into number 6, we have Lance Armstrong. The wildly successful athlete was caught in the most sophisticated and successful doping program the sport has ever seen, according to the US Anti-Doping Agency. People were shocked when the news first broke, but he later admitted it during his interview with Oprah that he in fact had been taking substances. But there was much more to it than just him taking them. He was involved in a professional doping program. He was stripped from his cycling titles and dropped by all of his sponsors, including Nike Inc. and Livestrong, and he was also banned from professional cycling races altogether. He ended up reaching a $5 million settlement with the government, but his career has never been the same since. In 2020 though, fans got to learn a lot more about the situation when a documentary called Lance came out, so if you're wanting to learn more on his career, the scandal, everything, go check that out. I've been intrigued. I have not, because I'm busy, but I have been interested. Halfway through our countdown at number 5, we have Kylie Jenner. Back in 2017, people were going crazy online about the rumors that Kylie was pregnant. Fans started speculating online and doing a deep dive on all her posts trying to prove that she was pregnant. Even paparazzi were doing all they could to get a photo that proved it, but she and her family kept denying it in all of their interviews. After she finally revealed the truth to the world, she explained that she lied about it because this was the one thing she wanted to not share with the world. Even her producers who filmed Keeping Up with the Kardashians with her said she hid it from them during filming her Life of Kylie season. But Kylie recently announced she is pregnant with her second child, and she is sharing this pregnancy with the world this time. You can't hide anything from fans. Or paparazzi. They always find out. In spot number 4, we have Brian Williams. The journalist, who is the father to actress Allison Williams, repeatedly told a story that claimed while he was on a reporting trip to Iraq in 2003, he was riding in a helicopter that came under fire and had to do an emergency landing. The story was believed every time he told it, until soldiers who were actually in the helicopter he was referring to came forward and told the truth. They revealed that Brian was not actually in the helicopter with them and said that he and his crew had actually arrived on scene about an hour after the helicopter performed its landing, which is obviously a very different story than the one that he was telling people. After being caught in the lie, he immediately apologized and claimed that he must have made a mistake and gotten his memories of the day mixed up. How do you? Come on. Oh, I just thought I remembered I was on this plane that went into flames. Like, give me a break, people. Taking over the 3rd spot is Ed Sheeran. Now, this one isn't as serious as the last one, but it is very funny. Back in 2016, he was sporting a new look that involved a cut on his face. When asked what had happened, he claimed it happened at a party with James Blunt and Princess Beatrice. Apparently, James jokingly asked Beatrice to knight him, and when she grabbed the ceremonial sword, she accidentally cut his face in the process. It seemed like a very random and strange story, but people believed it because, hey, weird stuff happens at parties all the time, especially when there's alcohol involved. But a year later, James spilled the beans about what really went down and admitted that the whole story that Ed told was a lie. Turns out Ed was just drunk and he was messing around and accidentally cut himself. He said that they thought it'd be really funny to make up this crazy fancy story, and then when people actually fell for it, they just stuck to it. And if you're wondering, Princess Beatrice had nothing to do with it, she was just randomly thrown into that story. Sniping number 2 spot is Rebel Wilson. While I'm sure a lot of people would like to lie about their age, I know I would, you can't really do that when working in the acting industry. In 2015, an Australian magazine called Women's Day published an article that called out Rebel for apparently lying about her age, name, and certain claims about her upbringing. Her initial age was believed to be 29 years old at the time, but the magazine revealed she was actually 35. Also, her birth name is Melanie Elizabeth Bounce, and she apparently did not have the upbringing that she has talked about in interviews. Now, Rebel never admitted to lying, she actually did the opposite. She filed a lawsuit against various publications because many media outlets also claimed that her real age was 35. She never fought against the claims being true or not, but she said that painting her as a liar had affected her career and ability to land roles. Earning our number 1 place is Martha Stewart. I'm sure we were all equally as shocked when news broke in December 2001 that she was allegedly involved in an insider trading scandal. Insider trading is where an individual buys or sells stocks that they have in a company using information that is not available to the public. That is what Google told me anyways. Don't quote me. An investigation was launched after she had denied being involved in anything, but it turns out that she was lying. She repeatedly denied doing any wrongdoing, claiming that she had an agreement with her broker to sell the shares if they went below a certain price, but that was proved to not be true. Martha ended up getting charged with security fraud, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy. She was sentenced to 5 months in jail and 5 months of house arrest after that, and 2 years probation, and later had to pay $195,000 to settle a civil case with the Security and Exchange Commission.
Starting off our list today, in the number 10 spot, we have Two-Face. It seems like the reputational danger to Fox from this Dominion suit did not only come with bogus claims about the election, but there was also a border danger that loyal viewers of the network might begin to ask whether they are being conned. Perhaps the single most striking example came from Carlson. In one text revealed in the discovery process, Tucker tried to claim that he passionately hated Trump, and that the assessment was also so incongruous with Tucker on the air attitudes to the former president that it started to raise a lot of questions. Since at some moments Tucker has claimed that he is on Trump's side, and on other occasions he has admitted that he completely hates the guy. It's gone to the point that it has people questioning whether or not he's saying what he wants to say or someone telling him what to say, because how do you claim you like someone but then a few short moments later you claim you hate them? It's either one or the other. You can't have both. Number 9, immigrant comments. In December 2018, Tucker Carlson made offensive comments about immigration during the opening of the episode of Tucker Carlson's Tonight and lost show advertisers as a result. After he said, "Our leaders demand that you shut up and accept this. We have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor. They tell us, even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided. Immigration is a form of atonement." In the wake of his very controversial remarks, more than 20 advertisers cut ties with Carlson's show in the months that followed, including IHOP, Red Lobster, and Samsung. And rather than apologizing, Tucker doubled down on his anti-immigration claims just a few days later when he said, "The left says we have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor, even if it makes our own country more like Tijuana is now," which is to say poorer or dirtier and more divided. Seriously, what kind of garbage comment is that? Hey, my little different species, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. Number 8, too costly. Tucker Carlson has been a central figure in the defamation case that has been taken against Fox News by the Dominion voting systems. The high-profile legal battle finally settled last week after Fox agreed to pay Dominion $787.5 million, but the network did not commit to issuing an apology, instead merely saying that it was willing to acknowledge the court's ruling finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. With the case revolving around the false claims that surrounded the 2020 United States election, many claims were incorrect. Wild and suggest Dominion somehow had a hand in flipping votes from then President Trump to President Biden. But in all of the claims' efforts to prove that the network had acted with actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth, Dominion has also uncovered a private message that told a different story from the one being told on air. On one occasion, for example, Tucker told colleagues that Trump's lawyer, Sidney Powell, is lying in some of her claims. In another, Tucker sought out the firing of a Fox reporter who had fact-checked a tweet from Trump. While many media observers thought Fox would pay the settlement and continue down the same road, we would be proved wrong, as it seems like this Dominion case proves that Tucker has become a little too costly for the network. Number 7, Maren Morris comments. Following a social media feud with country singer Jason Aldeana's wife Brittany about transgender rights comments, Maren Morris would also find herself being the topic of the conversation after Brittany appeared on Tucker's show to discuss the matter. After a statement previously said by Brittany drew in a lot of backlash from Morris and others in the country music industry after she disparaged parents of transgendered youth on Instagram. Meanwhile, during Brittany's appearance on Carlson's show, he made a reference about Morris and stated that she was a lunatic in the wake of all this drama. Morris then decided to make light of the situation by taking the high road, and she actually went on to release a merch line to clap back at Tucker's insult with the t-shirt featuring her name with the words "lunatic country music person." The shirts also included the Trans Life phone number, and with every sale of the shirt, Morris was able to raise $100K, and she used it all to benefit trans rights groups. Number 6, Kanye West interview. So while the whole world was shaking their heads at the fact that Kanye chose to display a WLM shirt and other apparel during his Yeezy Season 9 presentation during Paris Fashion Week, everyone was urging the star just to stay away from social media. However, Tucker Carlson felt differently, and he decided to interview Kanye on his decision. In the interview, Kanye would defend his decision for wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt during his presentation during Paris Fashion Week on Tucker Carlson Tonight. And if it couldn't get any worse, the interview was then aired in not just one part, but 2 parts. And in it, Kanye would say, "I do certain things from a feeling. I just channel the energy. It just feels right. It's using a gut instinct." a connection with God, and it's brilliant. But like, after all the hurt this movement caused, why would you think it was a good idea to bring Kanye on your show just to cause more hurt? I swear, common sense just isn't a thing anymore. Number 5, the legal suit. If there were legal reasons to why Fox has decided to distance itself from Tucker Carlson, they may not be confined to specific allegations regarding Dominion. When you get straight to the point of the case, you know there's this woman named Abby Grossberg, and on March 20th, she filed a legal lawsuit against Fox News, Tucker Carlson, and several others at the time. Abby was the head booker on Carlson's show, and she was fired from the network. In her 79-page complaint, Abby went on to note that her experiences were yet another in long line of cases chronicling the misogynistic environment that permeates Fox News. Her suit also alleged that the atmosphere on Carlson's show subjects women based on vile stereotypes, typecasting religious minorities, and belittles their traditions, and demonstrates little to no regard for those suffering from mental illnesses. With Abby feeling like she was coerced into giving misleading testimony in the Dominion case, she also alleged that the work area for Tucker's show, but Fox still strongly denies any wrongdoing in the case. Number 4, running for president. There has been a lot of presidential buzz around Tucker Carlson, but recently it has become more muted. So back in 2020, a report which suggests that if the anchor were to get into the 2024 race, there were many in the GOP that believed that he would be an immediate frontrunner in a Republican primary, with later development showing Carlson making an appearance last year at a key meeting of social conservatives in Iowa, and it would suggest he could actually be considering running for president of the United States. However, it is still a little too early to imagine that Tucker would depart from Fox so abruptly to pursue this thought, with so few hints being dropped in advance. If this really was his intention, he will now have plenty of time on his hands, which would make a run for office more appealing, but it seems equally like he will land elsewhere, like on another media landscape. Number 3, Teen Vogue interview. After an on-air conversation between Tucker Carlson and Teen Vogue contributor Lauren Duca boiled over regarding her commentary on Trump, the political host dismissed the writer and told her to stick to her thigh-high boots. And if you don't catch the reference, he was pretty much referencing the pop culture story she also writes about for the publication. Then just before he wrapped up the interview with Lauren, he tried to throw some major shade her way by saying, "You're better than that." Laura then took to Twitter to defend herself on the public forum by writing, "Tucker Carlson is an enemy of rational discourse. In a fraught moment, his bullying tactics are profoundly damaging and achieve nothing." Number 2, Trump's comments. A court filing made public in February of 2023 revealed that Carlson went as far to call the former president Donald Trump demonic publicly. However, the network continues to offer a platform to Trump loyalists who amplified all of these false claims. The filing included text messages sent from and some of the network's hosts and executives. Among the exchanges are several that describe Trump's false election claims and those that peddled them as effing lunatics, complete BS, and mind-blowingly nuts. Tucker also could be seen in another conversation in the wake of the election and privately took aim at Trump himself, calling the then president the undisputed world champion of destroying things and worrying that he would destroy us if we play it wrong. And coming in the number 1 spot today, we have Capitol. So back on March 6, Tucker Carlson started to face some major backlash from the Republican and Democratic lawmakers alike when describing footage from the January 6th storm on the Capitol as being mostly peaceful and not chaos. The downplay comment came after he aired select snippets from 41,000 hours of security footage from the day of the riot. But I think we can all agree these riots were actually anything but peaceful, and it was actually just insane people would even think about storming Capitol in the first place. With Tucker claiming that everything people were saying about the riot being dangerous was a lie, he also took to his weeknight program to report on the issue. He would say very little about January 6th and that it was organized and it wasn't violent. And surveillance videos from inside the Capitol show mostly peaceful chaos, but I mean, have you actually seen the footage? Because that whole thing was just insane. Well, at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that Tucker Carlson should have been fired from Fox News a long time ago, and the fact that he was able to last this long was honestly surprising. However, he's gone now, so we can all celebrate. Starting off our list today at number 10, we have alopecia. Just after the 2022 Oscars, the internet couldn't stop talking about the hair loss condition Jada Pinkett Smith is suffering from. With her journey of alopecia being openly documented, TikTok and Reddit users have gone on to prove that the star is lying about her condition. With users debating over images Jada has shared of her bald scalp when she was talking about her hair loss in a video shared on TikTok by Mariah Campbell, along with the caption, "Here is my celebrity conspiracy." The content creator can be heard saying, "I think she's completely lying about having alopecia because she's a cheater and wants people to focus on other things." Mariah then went on to say alopecia is patches, smooth patched, where the hair follicles don't grow, and she then started showing images of examples where viewers can see the type of round patches she's talking about. Mariah then went on to show a picture of Jada's head, where she pointed out that there's a line on her forehead, which the actress has explained in a previous video to be the result of her condition. Mariah then pointed out this line was most likely caused by cosmetic surgery and not alopecia. Her second argument would then prove that Jada was lying when she pointed out that if Jada had alopecia, she would have circular, bald patches, but she seems to have a lot of hair growth for someone who has alopecia, meaning she forced Will to smack Chris for no reason. Number 9. Racial bias reason. As we've all come to learn from the recent videos, it's that Jada Pinkett Smith hates white women with blonde hair, meaning she hates my very existence, especially now that I'm calling out for all of her lies. While Jada went on to explain her revelation back in 2018, she would sit down to discuss why seeing blonde hair on white women just triggers her, when she admitted to her own biases by saying, "I have to admit I'm guilty to that to a certain degree because I do have my own biases, specifically to blonde women. Blonde hair on white women just triggers me. I've had to catch myself." When her mother asked her if there was a specific incident that happened with someone who had blonde hair, the actress tried to claim that throughout her childhood she was teased by white women in regards to her hair and how she looked. But we all know she's just lying about why blonde hair women trigger her, as it's clearly just a sneak diss towards Margot Robbie. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss on what we might just cover next. Coming back to our list at number 8, we have the entanglement. Just after August Alsina came out to expose Jada for having an affair with her husband, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith would soon come out to deny the singer August Alsina's claims that they were in a long-term relationship for years while she was still married to Will. After August spoke publicly about being involved with Jada Pinkett Smith, reps would soon come out with a statement calling the claims absolutely not true. Shortly later, Jada would then head over to her social media accounts to state that there was a lot of pain that needed to be discussed and that she would be taking herself to her famous Facebook watch series, The Red Table Talk. During the conversation, we would learn that the entanglement was in fact true, despite what her representatives led the public to believe in the beginning when Jada admitted to the affair, and when it finally came out, it obviously was all lies, as she also claimed Will never gave the pair his blessing. However, August Alsina has nothing to lose when it comes to his affair, so why would he lie about the issue? Number 7. Forced to marry Will. Jada Pinkett Smith once said that she cried on her horrible wedding day during an episode on her infamous Facebook Red Table Watch series. In the episode, the actress would admit that she's never really agreed to the construct of marriage and that she never wanted to be married. With Jada saying, "I didn't want to get married and now Gammy's gonna run to Will crying about I don't want to have a wedding. Now I'm being forced to have a wedding when I really just wanted it to be the two of us on a mountain because this is serious business." It would cause Jada's mother to apologize for not respecting her wishes. Later in an episode, Jada then went on to say, "I was so upset that I had to have a wedding. I went crying down the freaking aisle. I cried the whole way." Meanwhile, Will would go on to say he wanted a family since he was at the age of 5 and he wanted to get married and have this perfect family, and he was really excited on the wedding day. However, when you're a grown adult, you have the power to make your own decisions. No one really forces you to get married. Also, if you look at photos on the couple's wedding day, not only was she glowing, but she was also seen with the biggest smile we have ever seen her have on her face. Number 6. Relationship with Tupac. For years now, Jada has been lying to the public about how serious her relationship was with Tupac. And honestly, it's gone a little too far as she keeps running her mouth with imaginary stories of the late rapper that make no sense. And it's gotten to the point she's even made her children believe that she would be happier if Tupac was still alive, as Willow even once wrote to the late rapper when she was 11 years old claiming so. With Jada and Tupac's relationship dating all the way back to the 80s when the two attended the same college, Jada has constantly stated that her relationship with Tupac has been strictly platonic, but then she tends to make her presence known whenever he starts to trend again online, which suggests that Tupac was more than just a friend. Especially since after Tupac passed away, his friends would come out to say how much Jada destroyed him when she left him for Will. And since a lot of Tupac's friends have been disgusted by the way she uses his name to draw attention to herself. Number 5. Helped August. With Jada admitting that she had an affair with August Alsina, she would then go on to note that August was troubled during their relationship and that she was helping him deal with a lot of things. When the actress sat down with the Post, she would say, "You can look at August and see that there's a certain amount of pain that he is feeling, and you can hear the words that he's trying to speak his truth while he's still protecting the Smith family in the process." With Jada previously saying that she was mentoring him throughout their relationship, it really has us all wondering what kind of mentoring she was giving him, as in the end of their relationship, he was left feeling like he gave his all to their relationship, and he was only left feeling devastated and hurt. It's clear Jada never helped August, and all she really wanted to do was destroy him. During their relationship, August was already dealing with abandonment issues as he was abandoned by his parents, and he was hustling just to make ends meet. He was also struggling with an autoimmune condition that caused him to be hospitalized on multiple occasions. And one time he even ended up in coma for 3 days. Jada never helped him, and she took advantage of his situation so she never had to feel lonely, and she just used August until she could convince Will that he couldn't stay away from her. Number 4. Loving Will. Lately it's been pretty clear that Jada Pinkett Smith has never loved Will Smith. Now, I get it. You're all probably wondering to yourselves how I may have came to this conclusion. Well, just let me explain. I came to this conclusion because she's had an entanglement, and then she went on to put all of her business out on the table while diving into everyone else's business in the process during multiple episodes on her infamous Facebook watch series The Red Table Talk. But think about it. If Jada seriously loved Will, like truly loved him, she would have never let him run up on the stage and smack Chris. She would have never laughed about the overall situation, and honestly, Will would be happy, but instead they both look miserable with each other. So it shows that when she says she loves Will, she's truly lying to Will and herself. Number 3. Discipline kids. Will and Jada have been very vocal about their decision not to punish their kids, as Jada strongly believes that their kids should have to suffer their own consequences and figure out how to dig themselves out of their own holes. However, this definitely isn't the case, as they have been exposed for punishing their kids on multiple occasions. The first incident is when Will and his ex-wife had to call Jada out for punishing Will's first son, Trey, to the point Will even had to put the actress in her place and pretty much told her that she couldn't punish a kid that wasn't hers no matter how he acted. The second being when police and social services started to investigate Will and Jada after photos of Willow started to go viral online, and it was stated that Willow was looking a little malnourished. And the third incident would be the fact that Jada also forced her kids to attend the New Leadership Academy, which happens to be a school she helped open in one of her homes for the Church of Scientology. And the school strictly had the entire curriculum based off of Scientology teachings. And if you force your kids to study a cult-based curriculum, that's just another form of punishment, to the point it's not really surprising to why their children feel abandoned and had thoughts about leaving home when they were still teenagers. Number 2. Not being a Scientologist. For years, Jada Pinkett Smith has been lying about how involved she is with Scientology, with former Scientology members confirming that not only was Jada involved in the controversial religion, they've also pointed out she was actually a recruiter for the organization. While the star has been known to visit the Scientology Center from time to time, she's even tried to claim that she was just at the church out of curiosity and wanted to learn what she wanted to learn, and she didn't think of herself as being a Scientologist. However, with the actress helping the church open the New Leadership Academy in her own home, it would later be revealed by teachers and parents who pulled their kids out of the school that the school's curriculum followed the teachings of Scientologists. And if the actor wasn't a Scientologist, then why did she force her husband not only to open the school with her, but allow the church to open the academy in one of their homes and put her own children in it? It adds up. Number 1. Chris Rock. Just after Chris Rock released his brutal Netflix Selective Outrage special, Jada Pinkett Smith would try to take aim at the comedian by saying he was obsessed with her. However, we all know this just isn't the truth, because who's obsessed with Jada Pinkett Smith? As she would have a close source come out to point out that she had nothing to do with the drama between Chris and her husband, and the only part she ever had in this mess was the fact that Chris heckled her. The source then went on to try to claim that Chris was so obsessed with her for almost 30 years by pointing out when he filmed the special, it was in her hometown, and then he claimed how she should have been made fun of as she started this. As he argues, she should have quit the Oscars. I mean, Chris is hurt, but I don't think he's ever been obsessed with Jada. As compared to some of the other celebrities he's heckled, he says her name way less. It just seems like Jada's trying to use anyone at this point to help her play victim, and that's exactly what she's doing in this situation. Coming in at number 10, Jaden's real father. Jaden's birthday may not actually be his exact birthday, and with many of you speculating in the last video, he may not actually be Will Smith's child. Okay, so hear me out. It's been said that Jaden Smith was born on July 8th, 1998, but what if I told you the actor was born in 1997? Now you're probably wondering who Jaden's father is about now, and if you haven't been able to do the math, just figure out that Tupac actually might be Jaden Smith's real father. Let me explain the math to you. So we all know Tupac passed away September 13th, 1996, and before he passed away, we know he was completely in love with Jada, and that Will was so jealous of their close bond. However, on top of Will's jealousy, something just doesn't add up when it comes to Jaden's birthday. With Jaden being born in July 8th and Tupac's passing being in September of 1996, just 10 months beforehand, it suggests that the Smith family covered up Jada's pregnancy for over a year before announcing she was pregnant, and then when the star actually finally gave birth, she kept Jaden's day a secret, so people wouldn't speculate that he was really Tupac's son. And she could keep this perfect family image, and if you don't believe me, just look at Tupac's photos and Jaden's photos, they look alike. Number 9, the bald head. So from the last video, a lot of you have been questioning to why Jada would shave her head if she didn't have alopecia. So after diving deep through all of your comments, I saw one of you mention that you knew Jada was lying for a while now, as she once told all of her followers that the reason she went bald in the first place is because her daughter asked her to go bald and she agreed. After then diving into the internet to see if the comment was true, I was shocked to find out this comment was 100% true, as Jada only started whining about her alopecia condition after the 2022 Oscars. And this is when she retracted her previous statement and tried to explain to the world that Willow made her shave her head because it was time to let go of her balding head. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. Coming at number 8, we have the plastic surgery. With the scars on Jada's head not being caused by alopecia, like she once told many of her fans and followers, it makes you wonder what the scar could have been caused by. Well, with many theories circulating on TikTok, among the footage made would also be a video made by a hair surgeon named Dr. Gary Linkoff, in which he discussed Jada's alopecia. With the video now receiving over 1.2 million views, in one snippet Gary would address the scar that is on top of her head that she has pointed out on social media numerous times. While Gary went on to note that there isn't a single hair loss condition that he knows that could even cause such a linear scar marking of the hair loss she has, he would go on to note that he strongly believes that Jada may have had a brow lift done, as the purpose of this traditional brow lift procedure she has had done is to remove any sagging skin from the brow by pulling back towards the top of your head. And this is where her scar is resting in the typical incision that is done by this procedure. And it isn't really far-fetched in the slightest way to believe that she did in fact have this brow lift done. And the fact that we can still see the hair particles on her head to where the scar exists shows that she might just be trying to cover up her plastic surgery procedure. Number 7, the Oscar slap. With the infamous Oscar slap being what's been talked about for over a year now, makes us wonder if this incident is ever going to fade away. Probably not. With footage emerging from the Oscars online, it would show Jada Pinkett Smith had a really odd reaction to her husband Will Smith smacking Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars, which suggests that she forced her husband to make a stand for her. When Chris made a joke about Jada playing G.I. Jane because of her bald head, Chris was reportedly unaware of the actress being diagnosed with alopecia. So while we went on to laugh at Chris' joke in the beginning after he saw his wife roll his eyes, things quickly took a sharp turn for the worse. viewers. With the event being telecast live, the moment was so intense it didn't show Jada's initial reaction to the slap, or any of the interactions between her and Will beforehand. But now, videos have surfaced online, and in them, Jada can be seen laughing after Will took to the stage to slap Chris before going on to act just as confused as the rest of the audience, which proves Jada is shady and manipulative. Number 6. Hated her surprise party. Will and Jada's relationship has been the talk of the town since 2015, since August Alsina went public. In July of 2022, a video would surface on the internet and Jada would come under fire for her reaction to a surprise party Will threw for the star. After Will took 3 years to plan her 40th birthday party on her show, Jada would mention that her 40th birthday party made her hit this midlife crisis. Will then took his time to make sure the whole day went perfect by hiring a team to orchestrate her 40th birthday party, and he even had a documentary team trace down Jada's family roots, including some very exclusive tapes that Jada's grandmother recorded for her before she passed away. Will wanted the day to be so perfect to show Jada that he had all this love for her, but to Will's surprise, Jada acted like she didn't even like the party at all, and she even went on to crush the star for it. Any girl would have swooned over the idea that their husband took this much time to plan something like this, because the sad reality is today, no one does something as sweet as this anymore, and girls have resorted into buying themselves flowers because men won't do it for us. So when Jada said she didn't like it, she was really just mad at the fact that she's never loved Will, and he knows that, but he still tries to shower her with love, so maybe she will love him back one day. Also, let's face it, if she didn't like the day, she wouldn't still be talking about it. She just wanted to embarrass her husband for treating her like a queen, because she'll never stop treating him like he's a peasant. 5. Not being pregnant. So many actors have admitted to lying to get a gig, and Jada happens to be one of these people. As she once revealed, when she was offered the role of Niobe in The Matrix Reloaded, she was pregnant and kinda lied so she could secure the job. After the actor explained why she lost out on the role of Trinity in the original film, as it came down to chemistry and she just had none when it came to acting with Keanu Reeves, she went on to explain that the Matrix directors were so impressed with Pinkett Smith that they created a role for her. But the role was actually supposed to go to Aliyah in the beginning, not Jada. Though the role was later given to Jada, she would have lost out on part of it if she had been 100% truthful, as the actor was pregnant with her daughter Willow at the time filming was required. And her being due in November, there was a small problem. Her daughter was due the same month. The film was supposed to start filming, so she lied, saying her baby was coming in October, so she would be ready by the end of November. Luckily, Willow came at the end of October, or things could have been a real mess for the production team. Number 4. Hates blonde women. So if you watch the Red Table Talk show, then you know Jada once admitted that she hates white women, especially if they have blonde hair. However, you know what's strange about her claim? It's that the actress also dons blonde hair from time to time. With Jada claiming that she only hates blonde white women because they bullied her in high school, it made us all look back to think about how many blonde girls we actually went to high school with. There's not that many, okay? Maybe like 3 to 4 in your whole class, let alone your whole school, depending where you are. Moving on. If blonde hair really triggered her, then why has she gone on to don the same look? Because if she truly had this trauma, when it came to blonde hair, we probably wouldn't see her donning these looks. Not to say that she hasn't been bullied, but I strongly believe that everyone has been bullied at some point in their life, but she just definitely doesn't have a bias towards blonde women, and it's clear if she does, she likes to become the people she hates. Number 3, being a good parent. For years, Jada has been trying to convince the public that she nailed the whole parenting thing, and that the way she approaches things as a mother is how every mother should be approaching their child. However, when Jada brought her children, Jaden and Willow, on the Red Table Talk, they would open up about how hard it was for them to have Jada and Will as parents, and how they found it difficult to grow up in a famous family. To the point her kids felt like there was seriously not enough support when it came to their artistic careers, and they wished that their family could have noticed they were struggling and gave them support. Instead of admitting to the problem, Jada then went on to blame the whole thing on Will Smith, for noting that they had different parenting skills due to the fact that they grew up with different backgrounds. But how you grow up shouldn't affect the way you parent your children, as we all have control over our own actions, and people can't affect that. Number 2, loves her family. I strongly firmly believe that Jada has never really truly loved her family. Because let's face it, the only one Jada can never love truly is herself. Have you ever noticed when Jada's family brings up their problems, she can't just wait to bring them onto her infamous Facebook watch series, so she can discuss all the details about the problems within it, and it makes it look like she isn't the problem in many of these issues. It just seems like Jada knows her career isn't going anywhere, and in the process of her realization, she knows she has to rely on her famous family and their personal issues to make her famous. As not only has Jada exposed her family, but in the process she has lied, manipulated, and belittled her family to show that she has no shame in her actions, and if she really was a loving wife, daughter, mother, and friend, she wouldn't be hurting her loved ones and exposing them the way she is. And coming in at number 1 today, we have her relationship with Tupac. Okay, so you all know how Jada has been like preaching about her relationship with Tupac and how it's always been strictly platonic. Well, it seems like this may not be the case, as Jaden Smith has once even stated that the late rapper even once proposed to his mother in an interview, and it goes on to prove that her relationship with Pac was definitely more than just platonic. In the past, Jada has spoken about how she had a really close relationship with Tupac on numerous occasions, and that the two met when attending the Baltimore School for the Arts together in the 1980s. With Jaden admitting that Jada and Pac were best friends, it would then prompt Big Boy to make a joke saying, well, they say marry your best friend, but I'm glad they didn't. A sentiment Jaden first agreed with while laughing. However, in another interview, he then would go on to whine about how he wished his dad was Tupac, but lucky for him, his dad actually might be Tupac. Starting off our list today in the number 10 spot, we have an A-top life. When it comes to Tom Cruise's past, it seems like it wasn't as easy as he would like us all to believe, especially when he was younger. While most 13-year-olds would find it hard to cope with all the factors that come with school, especially when it comes to fitting in, considering Tom had to attend 13 different schools when growing up, hints that he didn't really fit in with being the new kid on the block so many times, and it definitely left a mark on his character. During an interview with Robert Ebert, Tom would even confess that in his early life, it lacked stability as he had to live in various cities growing up. Tom would then explain it wouldn't be until 6th grade that he found his resilience, determination, and competitive character, and it manifested themselves after he turned his talents to floor hockey and other athletic teams. By high school, he even became a football linebacker in Hollywood, but after he was caught drinking before a game, his career in football would end. Later on in an interview, Cruise would even expose his family's financial status and how it led him to be bullied when he was younger, when he told Robert that he was mocked by other kids because of his accent, shoes, and pretty much everything about himself. And since the 4th grade, he turned to acting to help him combat with his struggles with bullying. Number 9, his height. For years, Tom Cruise has been using height illusions to trick the public into thinking that he's much taller than he actually is, with the actor standing at 5'7", when he was seen looking a little taller when alongside Kate Middleton on the red carpet in 2022, with the two nearly eye to eye on the red carpet. When you consider the fact that the Princess of Wales is 5'9" and was wearing 3-inch stiletto heels, it would have boosted her height to at least 6 feet, which is quite a height difference for the actor, and yet with his tricks he was able to look taller than Kate. So at this point you're probably wondering, how did he do it? And how he looks nearly 4 to 5 inches taller than his scene partners on set or other celebrities in film or in photos. Well, before you start questioning whether wizards are real, well, relax, they aren't, and he's simply just using styling tricks for his grand height illusion by wearing the right clothes and shoes. He's also carefully coordinated his poses with the help of stairs and boxes, and he's tricked the public into thinking that he's much taller than he actually is. But it also helps that he also wears heeled shoes when he's on the red carpet. Alright, teacups. Yeah, I heard you. Apparently you guys don't like being called peaches, so I'm switching things up a bit. So if you like this video so far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. Number 8, recruiting. While Tom Cruise has been known to credit much of his success in Hollywood to his Scientology religion, he has stood on this idea that just because he's talking about his religion doesn't mean he's actually trying to recruit other celebrities or people to join it. However, Tom has been a vocal advocate for his controversial religion for quite some time now, and some celebrities like Seth Rogen have even admitted that Tom once tried to convert him to the cause. Seth even once recalled in an interview with Howard Stern that during a meeting with Cruise, Tom went on to say, "If you let me just tell what it's really about, if you let me just give me like 20 minutes to really tell you what it was about, you would say No effing way. The interview then managed to steer towards a conversation towards movies, as everyone on the set was just feeling a little bit uncomfortable with what was being said about the conversion story, and that would all soon be forgotten. Number 7. Struggles. For the longest time, Tom Cruise tried to keep his personal struggles hidden, but after he finally closed a door on his academic life in 1980, he would finally open up about his academic struggles when he told People magazine, "When I was about 7 years old, I was labeled dyslexic. I tried to concentrate on what I was reading, and I'd get to the end of the page and have very little memory of anything I read. I would go back, it'd be blank, I'd feel anxious, nervous, bored, frustrated, and dumb. I would get angry." This is why throughout school and well into his career, Tom did everything he could to harbor his struggles as a secret. As an inspiring actor, Tom's frustration would lead for his condition to reach a boiling point, as reading scripts and memorizing lines should have been like bread and butter for the actor when it came to his craft, but he found his dyslexia from mastering what he wanted to accomplish. During cold reads, Tom would then talk to the director about his character, and he would try to wing it, but he could only carry on flying by the seat of his pants for so long because, in his own words, the trap door was going to open and that would be it. But then he tried to claim in 1986 that his remedy to his dyslexia was cured because of Scientology and how they taught him to read. Number 6. Katie Holmes. While Tom tried to claim that he was totally blindsided when it came to his split with Katie Holmes, apparently that just wasn't the case, as he even pleaded with the actress to stay with him for a surprise party that he was throwing himself. With the couple fighting over her plan to leave, Katie found herself in a situation that made her plan a daring escape so she could get her daughter away from Tom and his crazy religious views, as she didn't want to see her 6-year-old at the time attending a Scientology-run school. Katie was also so scared that she even had her cell phone switched out, and she even went off the grid to the point not even her closest friends and family could get a hold of her. While Tom was aware Katie was looking into getting a new apartment, he just didn't know why she was doing it, as he didn't actually think she was going to leave him, and when she did, he thought it was just so she could feel safe from the public, but what he didn't know is that she was actually leaving him so she could divorce him and know that her daughter could be safe from his grasp. Later it would be revealed that the couple had a pretty toxic relationship, and after their divorce, he even managed to get a judge to agree that Katie couldn't publicly date anybody for 5 years, so it wouldn't embarrass him. Like, let's talk about some small D energy. Number 5. Smith family ties. With Will Smith pretty much lying low these days, after his career took a serious hit since his infamous incident at the 94th Academy Awards, and with the actor's last movie being The Emancipation, it wasn't really received well by the audience. And he has now turned to his old-time buddy Tom Cruise to help assist him in lifting his career trajectory. But remember how they both tried to claim at one point they actually weren't that close so they could hide the fact that Jada's affiliation with the church wasn't actually real? Well, Tom is doing his best to stay clear of the Smith family, to the point apparently Will has been trying to call him several times a day, but there's been no communication between the two. Considering at one point Will and Tom actually used to be best friends, it seems like Tom is trying to show that the situation has changed now. And while Tom's trying to maintain that he's keeping a safe distance from his former friend in public, we all know that something is in the works behind closed doors, and we should expect to see these two on the screen together sometime soon, as let's not forget, Scientology tends to help out their members that are struggling. So we should see the Smith family affiliation be exposed by the church and Tom very soon. Number 4. Past relationships. For some odd reason, it seems like every time Tom Cruise has gone on to split from one of his girlfriends or wives, he seems to split from them around the time they turn 33 years old, which is honestly pretty strange. And it makes you wonder why all his ex-wives, such as Katie Holmes, Nicole Kidman, and Mimi Rogers' relationships with Tom came to an end when they were all 33 years old. Like, is this just one bizarre coincidence, or just an intriguing conspiracy? And while he's gone on to claim Scientology hasn't actually been behind any of his divorces, it actually makes you question if the actor's lying about that fact, as it isn't exactly a rabbit hole for any sane person that they would want to disappear into. However, it hasn't really stopped people from speculating that the number 33 also has a deep significance in Scientology. Since the age of each of Tom's ex-wives at the time of divorce can't be ignored, if you look at where the first church of Scientology was founded, it actually lies on a circle of latitude that lies 33 degrees from the Earth's equator, and it's been called the 33rd parallel. But I'll let you decide if this is just a coincidence, but Seriously, just connect the dots. Something just doesn't seem right. Number 3, the Brad Pitt feud. When it comes to Tom's feud with Brad Pitt, it may seem like the two just don't like each other. But at the end of the day, Tom is just salty over the fact that one of the best actors in the world finds him pretty annoying to work with. And it's gotten to the point that even when Tom was snubbed for a Golden Globes nomination, he would even go on to blame Brad Pitt for sabotaging his chances. Tom was apparently expected to walk away with the award for Best Actor in 2022. But when he found out he didn't make the list, it totally blew a fuse in his gasset, as he was even in the process of fine-tuning his acceptance speech. And when he found out that Brad was nominated for his role in the movie Babylon, Tom would really show that he was obsessed with beating Brad out. It seems like the feud is really based on Tom's ego, as Brad can't stand that Tom wants everything to be about him, and Tom's really just upset that nothing can really be about him when Brad's still in the picture. Number 2, fake manic episodes. So back in 2005, we all watched Tom Cruise have his way over the top manic episode when he shocked everyone during an interview with Oprah. While the actor was talking to Oprah about his new relationship with Katie Holmes, he would eventually marry a year later, Tom made his excitement clear throughout the interview by getting up and doing victory poses. At one point, he even turned into a complete maniac and jumped on the couch in the middle of the conversation right next to Oprah. While the moment seemed slightly over the top at the time, it's clear Tom knew what he was doing and the audience loved the move. After viewers inspected the clip later on, they would all come to know that Tom was just faking this manic episode so he could draw more eyes to his relationship with Katie, and his perception by the public would be changed forever. And coming in number 1 today, we have Not Scared. So we all know Tom has done some pretty insane stunts while on some pretty big movie sets. And while actors usually aren't required to do their own sets, it seems like Tom just has a thing for doing some of the world's most craziest stunts. And while he's tried to say that it doesn't scare him, back in 2015 he would admit while he does like doing his own stunts, he did fear for his life when he had to hang off a flying plane 8 times while shooting a scene for the Mission Impossible film. When the star was asked about his experience, he would say, "I was actually scared. As always, I will do everything I can to entertain an audience and put as many people into your theaters. I'm an aerobatic pilot. I've always wanted to do that. I was in a harness on my side. That was kind of loose, so you could see the vibration of my body against the plane." Tom would then go on to claim that he almost got injured when the plane landed despite the crew making efforts to clear the runway of birds and debris. At CinemaCon in Las Vegas, he would even tell the crowd that he definitely paid the price for doing his own stunts when he said, "I got hit by just a little particle. I literally thought it broke my ribs." Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Barbie. Apparently for Margot Robbie, life in plastic isn't always fantastic, as the actress has revealed that her and her co-star Ryan Gosling, who plays Ken in the upcoming Barbie film, they weren't ready for the world to see them all dolled up in photos that went viral back last June. With Margot sharing on The Tonight Show that she was mortified of the photos when they were leaked to the press, she would also try to claim it was the most humiliating moment of her life. With both Margot and Ryan becoming the talk of the internet over the last year, with their photos being taken from set, featuring them wearing matching cowboy ensembles and roller skating down on Venice Beach in vibrant fluorescent outfits, with the actress trying to claim that she was hurting on the inside because hundreds of people were watching her. It would soon be known as a lie because many fans started to drop the fact that with the new Barbie movie dropping major Easter eggs that pretty much point out that the world is just an alternate dimension of the Wizard of Oz, and the fact any girl growing up's dream was pretty much to be a Barbie, it proves that if Margot really found the role that embarrassing, she probably would have just not taken on the project and passed it on to another talented actress who was willing to take the role if this was to fall into their lap. Number 9. Age. Back in 2016, after Margot became the cover story of Vogue magazine, people would then start to speculate that the Australian actress isn't exactly her age, with Margot's age soon becoming the subject of the internet for years to come. Though there are plenty of rumors of actors and actresses who lie about their age, back in 2016 people just couldn't believe that Margot was actually 25 years old, and they just didn't think it was right that a 30-year-old was trying to lie. With people drawing up receipts to prove that their theories were right, right, one would point out in 2008, it was listed that she was 23 years old in the first SATC movie. So her age in 2016 would make her around 30 to 31 years old. Now, it's not very shocking that the actress would lie about her age, as Hollywood has become obsessed with younger culture, to the point it's become harder for women in Hollywood to find acting work as they age out of their 20s. So Margot, much like fellow Australian actor Rebel Wilson, shaved 5 to 6 years off her age so she could stay relevant while working in the industry. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss on what we might just cover next. Coming in at number 8, we have Will Smith's relationship. Back in 2013, Star Magazine alleged that Will Smith got caught cheating with his Focus co-star Margot Robbie. In the report, publication posted that they found proof in Will's affair after they obtained and published a photo on the cover of their magazine. In the photo, Will appeared to be shirtless and Margot could be seen lifting up her own shirt. An unnamed source would then claim that once they pulled back that curtain to take the pictures, they were running wild, laughing, hugging, and muzzling each other in the dark. With the whole thing being pretty much scandalous, Margot and Will tried to claim that they were just friends, having fun, and to point out that they even had representatives waste no time calling the entire story bogus when they went running to E! News. However, considering the fact that Jada once shortly came out to shade Margot, it would prove that maybe the scandal had some truth to it and something did happen between the pair. Number 7, CGI. Every actor always has different ways in navigating through clothingless scenes. For some actors, it's not just a big deal as long as it makes sense for their character, and for other actors, they just refuse to strip down for any role. They are given regardless of the story they are telling. With Margot falling more closely in the first camp after she filmed a full frontal scene for The Wolf of Wall Street, being clothless in scenes stopped being such a big deal for her. However, it seems like it was a big deal to her family, which is why she lied about it. With the Australian actor sitting down for an interview with Jimmy Kimmel Live, she would tell the host, "I just flat out lied to my family for a very long time. And I said, I don't care what you hear, I'm wearing clothes in the whole film and ignore what anyone else says." Eventually, Margot's lie was short-lived after learning that her family had very much an intention to go see The Wolf of Wall Street, so she came up with another lie, and this one was the more outlandish and hilarious. As she said, "I changed that to, it's actually a body double and they just use CGI. And they just CGI'd my head onto someone else. And my family doesn't have anything to do in the entertainment industry," and they were like, "They can do that?" And I was like, oh, technology these days. You wouldn't believe what they do in Hollywood. Number 6, Lady Gaga. When it was announced that Margot Robbie had nothing but applause for the idea that Lady Gaga would be stepping into Harley Quinn's villainous boots opposite of Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker 2, Robbie just couldn't keep her poker face when she came out to say, "It makes me so happy because I said from the very beginning, all I want is Harley Quinn to be like Macbeth or Batman, a character that gets passed from great actor to great actor." However, even while the actor may be saying these things in public and that it was such an honor for her to build such a strong foundation for Harley to now be one of those characters other actors can have a go at playing, and that she strongly believes Gaga will do something incredible with it, while the actor does believe Gaga will do an amazing job, she is furious on the inside that her time as Harley has pretty much come to an end, and now she has to play characters like Barbie just to stay relevant. To the point, inside sources have even revealed Margot's kinda hoping Joker 2 flops so she can convince executives to allow her to have another Harley Quinn movie and maybe bring Poison Ivy into the mix. Number 5, Box of Lies. When Margot Robbie made an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, her competitive side took on Jimmy and his box of lies. However, unlike other late night games experiences, she didn't come away anywhere near victorious. However, it turns out when it comes to lies, Robbie's actually pretty terrible, especially when she tries to come up with a really convincing lie for Fallon in the game. With Margot having plenty of ticks to tell that gave her away, like her accent disappearing completely, it would make us all wish that she really never has a chance to actually play poker, because if she did, she stands to lose a lot. With the pair taking turns describing a strange object that the box had in a box hidden from the participant's view, the other player had to guess whether this was a truth or a lie. With Margot trying to tell Jimmy that the plastic lobster was in fact a Jessica Rabbit doll with his head on it, right away Jimmy saw right through the actress's lie, and he continued to see it every time they played. Number 4, crying. If you go back to September September, you might recall Margot found herself being the center of discussion online after a batch of photographs of her looking distressed made rounds across social media. In the snaps, Margot could be seen dressed casually and appearing to be leaving a residence with a suitcase in hand. Though fans were immediately concerned when it appeared that the actress was crying, as she could be seen looking towards the ground, scrunching her face while trying to cover her face with her hand. To make matters even more intriguing, Page Six and several other media outlets would then start to report that the photos had been taken while Margot was leaving the home of Cara Delevingne. With the two being known to be good friends, around the time the photos were taken, Cara had sparked major concern among her fans as she started to exhibit what many deemed to be unusual behavior in the prior months. And just days after, Margot could be seen looking teary-eyed after she supposedly visited the supermodel's home. However, then the actress said that she wasn't crying and she was actually just on the phone with her mom, who was keen to check in on both her and Cara, and that the photos weren't outside Cara's home but rather an Airbnb. However, after fans compared the photos, it would be pointed out that it was Cara's home, not an Airbnb, and on top of that, Cara's behavior only got worse from that moment, so it's clear whatever happened that day did clearly disturb Margot. Number 3. Won't date actors. Back in 2015, when Margot was on the cover of Marie Claire's March issue, in the accompany profile, she made a bold statement about dating fellow actors when she said, "I'm officially off the market. I made a conscious decision not to date actors, but not because I hate actors. That's a nasty generalization to make, and that's not the case. People take such interest in your love life when you have a profile that it puts a lot of stress on the relationship. So two people with profiles, I figured it's just double the amount of scrutiny, and I'd like to avoid it at all costs." However, just soon after she made the statement, she was soon spotted kissing a Swedish actor at the Sundance Film Festival. With neither making a comment about the incident, while the actor may have packed on the PDA, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were a couple. However, it does prove that Margot is definitely willing to give an actor a chance. But I think we all know she probably just made this statement because she really wanted Will Smith, and he just couldn't stay away from Jada. Number 2. Prince Harry. Back in 2016, Margot Robbie would admit that she had no idea she was talking to royalty when she began chatting to Prince Harry at a Christmas party in London. The Wolf of Wall Street actress then started making headlines in December 2015 after a media outlet started to suggest that she had been flirting with the British royal while attending model Suki Waterhouse's Ciroc Bash. Later, Robbie would then confess that she didn't know Harry was famous, let alone a prince, when they first bumped into each other. The unlikely new pals then had so much fun at the gathering that the stars all piled into a party photo booth towards the end of the night. With the actress first claiming that she didn't know it was him for about half an hour talking to him, the story just kept changing every time she spoke to someone new about the incident, especially when she started to claim that she didn't know he was famous, and then another time she tried to claim that she thought he was Ed Sheeran. Things just didn't really end up making sense, so it only makes sense that Margot was just keeping things coy so she could protect Harry's image. And coming in number 1 today, we have The Slap. Margot Robbie's role in the Wolf of Wall Street film made her into a household name, but in order for her to get the big initial role as Naomi, it wasn't simply a case of having an audition, as she had to do something outside the box to Leonardo DiCaprio to secure her place in the production. According to the director, in order for Margot to impress him, she actually went completely off script when he said she clinched her part in The Wolf of Wall Street during our first meeting by hauling off and giving Leonardo a thunderclap of a slap on the face. Margot would then later speak about her tactics by saying she knew that she only had a small period of time to impress one of the world's most well-known directors and actors in the world, so she had to pull out all of her big moves. She then went on to say, "In my head I was like, you have literally 30 seconds left in the room, and if you don't do something impressive, nothing will ever come out of it. It's a once in a lifetime chance, just take it." So I just started screaming at him, he started yelling back at me, and he's really scary. I can barely keep up, and he ends it by saying, "You should be happy to have a husband like me. Now get over here and kiss me." After debating if she should walk over and actually kiss him, she actually walked over and slapped him and screamed "F you." Scared of what might just happen next, to her surprise, Leo actually told her to hit him again. And since she stated that she was really proud, she made the decision to hit the star. But honestly, I think we can all agree anyone would be scared to make such a move.
And at number 10, antisocial antics. Actor Jim Carrey formally revealed that Tom carries around a particular nickname in the industry. When mentioning the renowned star in his book, Memoirs and Misinformation, Jim stated that Tom was constantly being referred to as Laserjack Lightning within Hollywood. While exposing this, Jim added, "That's just us poking fun at the litigiousness of Hollywood. I know Tom. He may sock me, but hey, I'll take the beating for a piece of art." An unnamed source once claimed to Life and Style that Hollywood may have iced Tom out. Then there's the alleged theory that the actor has stuck with his promise of never speaking with or working alongside those who exposed him. The same source concluded, "He doesn't have that many close friends, and he certainly doesn't trust many people." Some say all of his supposed celebrity friendships are phony. Before we break down the rest of today's list, be sure to tap our notification bell for more top 10 celebrity content. And at number 9, hates Rob Lowe. There was a time when the filmmaking actor and podcaster dished about his heated run-in with the Mission Impossible star. Rob formerly recounted the encounter with Tom while they were stationed on a set of The Outsiders. The incident occurred during a fight scene rehearsal when Rob accidentally hit Tom's nose and reportedly set him off. According to media claims, Rob stated he and Tom had to be separated to prevent them from engaging in a genuine physical fight, exclaiming, "The next thing you know, he's ready to kill me." Rob also mentioned how Tom lost his marbles when he discovered they'd be rooming together in New York during their final auditions for The Outsiders. And at number 8, Bossy Regulator. Tom's infamously viral Unprecedented Times rant was supposedly sending the right message but delivered in the worst way possible. Of course, shaming and publicly humiliating people is never okay and serves as an ineffective way to get messages across. Reports even stated compassion works best in response to compliance. However, there was nothing compassionate about the way Tom reportedly berated his Mission Impossible 7 crew about 2020 health protocols, leaked via an audio recording. Said recording emerged capturing the actor explosively shouting at his MI7 crew over their apparent health tiff, exposed by the British news outlet The Sun. While no one knew what sparked the outburst originally, The Sun stated Tom addressed 2 members on set who he believed broke protocols while filming on the outskirts of London. Both Variety and the New York Times cited unnamed sources surrounding the film to confirm the leak's authenticity. In the recording, Tom is overheard screaming that whoever did it again would be effing gone, and to not ever do it again. Tom further appeared to inform the crew via the audio that Hollywood relies on films similar to theirs to keep the industry thriving. And at number 7, Lies About Lies. Everyone knows, or at least thinks they know, just how deeply Tom's involvement in the whole Scientology stuff is and whatnot. But he'll be the first to debunk these practice theories, despite media evidence possibly working against him. According to Vanity Fair, and frankly just about every other publisher, Tom was using his status in Scientology to find a lifelong partner. But ask Tom or anybody in his inner circle and they'll straight up tell you it's lies. Back in 2012, Tom's representative lawyer, Bert Fields, spoke to ET in response to a then new Vanity Fair article which claimed a low-down Scientology project was crafted as a way to help the star find a partner, calling out the article as being long, boring, and false. The then new VF piece alleged that back in 2004, before Tom's marriage to Katie Holmes, members of Scientology geared up on a top-secret mission led by Shelley Miscavige, wife of Scientology leader David Miscavige, to scout out a girlfriend for Tom, involving an elaborate auditioning process. The article further detailed some rather harsh treatment Nazanin Boniadi allegedly faced after being selected to date Tom between November 2004 to January 2005. Scientology spokespeople denied all claims of the project existing, and both Tom and David declined to be interviewed by the outlet. However, the church did respond to Paul's claims, insisting he and Nazanin were part of a group founded by self-admitted liars who are anti-Scientology and repeatedly sold off stories to top bidders over the years. And at number 6, labor work scheme. Across the last decade or so, a handful of ex-members belonging to the Church of Scientology have spoken out to blame the group for inappropriate misconduct, among several other allegations, and Tom seemingly centered right around the bad press. Back in 2013, a total of 15 Scientologists allege how Tom took repeated advantage of members while only paying them a single dollar per hour to complete endless tasks. Reports included their leader ordered them to complete the renovation of his Beverly Hills home back in 2004, to oversee the construction of a large custom motorhome for crews within 5 months, and to assist in the process of customization and construction for a reserved limousine for the actor. Former high-ranker Scientologist Amy Scooby once detailed her jobs of locating workers of the church to maintain their positions of nanny, cook, and maid. And at number 5, celebrities avoid him like the plague. According to reports, numerous celebrities allegedly maintain distance from the actor regularly. An unknown insider once claimed that the reason why celebrities keep Tom at arm's length is that whoever gets close to him is encouraged to convert to Scientology. Obviously, this tactic was dubbed as creepy and overall invasive. But apart from the church's recruitments, many others have been open about the tales of Tom's overgrown temper tantrums and overall questionable behavior. Due to this, and probably a bit more, Tom allegedly relocated to London at one point and has remained rather private about his very public life since. A source even backed up these claims by once saying, "Tom's star status is taking a hit. He's definitely at a crossroads in his life." In at number 4, divorce patterns. Throughout his life, Tom has had 3 divorces under his belt, all of which ended in messy headlines and he said she said media games. Reports have described the insane similarities between his former spouses and the way they've all ended too. Allegedly, Tom has a bad habit of allowing history to repeat itself, as there have been reported patterns shadowing the actor from every one of his splits with his ex-wives. From Mimi Rogers to Nicole Kidman and Katie Holmes, many netizens chalk their scenarios up as an odd coincidence that his marriage to them ended at the specific age of 33. However, others noted that 33 is a rather significant number for Tom's Scientology practice. Outside of that theory though, there have been other less wild suggestions for the exposed pattern, which is simply just Tom having a preference for dating women under 33 and sticking to that no matter what. In at number 3, the height debate. Tom has never been one to lie about his height specifically, but it's been detailed that Tom's height has been yet another exposed secret within the industry. A 2020 article published by The Things released a theory which may have proved Tom's height has been one great big fib. It's no shocker that fans are adamant when it comes to speculation about the acting star, and even though Tom's infamous Oprah couch moment is still talked about even today, we've clearly seen a downfall in Tom's personal feelings being announced to the world. As E! Online elaborated, while Tom was cast in one shot, many were unimpressed by Tom landing the role of Jack Reacher. While the character and plotline seemed perfect for Tom as an action-based film, fans of the Lee Child series just weren't happy. And while Tom didn't declare his height then, fans were clearly aware of how tall he is. Tom insisted on Lee Child's approval of him playing Jack as well. But of course, Tom was incredibly irked about fans commenting on the size of his stature. It states online that the actor is 5 feet 7 inches, and going based on that, it seems he's never lied about his height. Though he did also make regular appearances with his 5'9" ex-wife Katie for years with no issues. Not to mention his size never held him back in Hollywood, still worth millions and only adding even more acting credits to his resume within each month. In at number 2, controversial conversations. Tom once seemed to compare acting to combat fighting in Afghanistan. As for a 2013 reported deposition, while entangled in his $50 million lawsuit against Bauer Media, the actor allegedly informed the court that being on location while filming took about as much energy as serving a tour of duty. The opposing team's lawyer brought up Tom's alleged absence from Surrey, which publicly equated his comparison to acting being as taxing as someone fighting in Afghanistan. After Tom was questioned if he was aware of his words, the actor reportedly responded, "Didn't hear Afghanistan, but that's what it feels like, and certainly on this last movie, it was brutal." Naturally, the press was on Tom's tail with the effortless headliner, all while Tom's defense lawyer, Bert, attempted to clear the air about his supposedly exaggerated statements. Bert even slammed people assuming Tom's remarks were harmful too, stating, "The assertions that Tom likened making a movie to being at war is a gross distortion of record." What Tom said, laughingly, was that sometimes that's what it feels like. In at number 1, Worst Father of the Year award. Finally, we have the touchy topic of Tom's fatherhood. On top of being accused of brainwashing his eldest kids, Tom also reportedly abandoned another one too. But before we break down the latter, let's discuss the former a bit more. While Nicole Kidman and Tom were still married, they adopted 2 children named Isabella and Connor. Once they split, it was stated via reports that Tom did his very best to convince the pair they needed to cut their mom out of their lives. Former Scientologist Sam Domingo claimed Isabella and Connor were forced into Scientology school and taken away from their mother. Sam further added how they were brainwashed by growing up, sans choices, and was most notably being used as leverage for the church. While Connor allegedly remained in their care under full-time surveillance supervision, working to become the perfect Scientologist, Isabella starred in promotional videos for the church's London branch and encouraged members to intern as auditors. Isabella also reportedly described how the training was incredible and thanked her dad for everything. Then came the reports of Tom leaving his daughter Surrey behind. While Tom wanted absolutely no one to think he just upped and left his youngest daughter out to dry, this is adamantly what several stories claimed over the years. In 2012, Tom filed his Bauer Media lawsuit for the Life and Style and In Touch articles with claims that he turned his back on his daughter. However, he was later forced to admit in his deposition the next year that he had abandoned Surrey for an extended time due to work. A source added to this by claiming Tom's connection connection to Scientology and its disconnection policy was involved in the process. Of course, this should all be taken with a grain of salt, as a lot of tabloids will claim whatever. There's also the fact that Tom hasn't ever really seen a hit in his active working streak within history still, and all the hate towards him never once stopped his money-making success at the end of the day.
And number 10, how Harry proposed. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Netflix documentary definitely has a lot of fans raging over multiple lies shown within seconds of the first episode. Viewers have pointed out that there's been a lot of problems with the pair's tale on how Prince Harry proposed. In the documentary, Harry would explain that he wanted to propose earlier, however, he had to ask his grandmother for permission and he couldn't do it outside of the UK. Detailing the proposal, he would explain that he brought Meghan into the middle of the walled garden that was overlooked by the staff flat. To prepare for the area, he got on his knees and he got 15 electric candles and placed them around the garden. He also had Meghan's beagle Guy flown in just for the special occasion. He would then have Meghan close her eyes and tell her not to peek just before Meghan even called her friend and whispered that she thought he was actually going to propose to her. Then a series of photos would be shown of the special moment, which showed Harry on one knee holding a ring box in one hand as the dog sat next to him. Meghan then said he was down on one knee and I was like, yes, we were so joyful and excited. We thought we're doing this. However, the proposal totally contradicted the past version they told the press in 2017, as Harry claimed that he proposed to the Duchess in the kitchen on a standard typical night in their cottage. However, even by the third episode, Meghan would even admit that their engagement was rehearsed for the press. At number 9, we have ex-girlfriend cut out of a photo. Since Netflix released the first 3 episodes of the Duke and Duchess documentary series, Harry and Meghan's fans have been analyzing every single photo and video shown. However, the fans noticed something really weird about one of the photos. While some of the manipulations of photos were small, it's clear that the couple were trying to look vulnerable, and the photos and videos were planted to help them achieve sympathy from the public. With the couple trying to say that they had already been hounded by the public, a photo of younger Harry would be shown, and in the photo you could see that he has his hands covering his face from the paparazzi cameras. Although it looks like in the photo that the prince is completely on his own, thanks to some good cropping, fans would point out that they've seen this photo before, as the photo initially also featured Harry's ex-girlfriend Chelsea Davy. Now, the photo in question was taken in September of 2007 at Heathrow Airport, and while the photo is cropped, it featured Harry with a protective arm around Chelsea, who was walking by his side, despite the original picture showing Harry with his ex-partner. It makes us wonder why Netflix producers cropped Chelsea out of the frame entirely. Hey Peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And number 8, Netflix photographer. While Meghan and Harry are claiming the press has been leaking and planting stories about them, the real dirty game here is the fact that they tried to convince everyone that a Netflix photographer was a paparazzi member. A lot of you have been pointing out a lot of fake photos, including Evening Standard's royal editor Robert Jobson, as he's even criticized one of the dramatic shots in a photo that could be seen of a photographer's lens peering down on the couple with their newborn child. The couple would try to claim that it was someone following them. However, Robert has insisted that the photo was taken with their approval by an accredited press photographer at Archbishop's Tutu's residence in Cape Town. Only 3 people were accredited in this position. And you might be wondering, how did Robert know that there was only 3 people hired by the couple? Well, it's because he was there and he was one of those people. The filming of Archie at the residence was highly controlled, and it wasn't the scum media following them. And number 7, press intrusion. The issue with majority of the docu-series is that Meghan and Harry have claimed that there was a large amount of press intrusion. When it came to the couple, however, a lot of it was actually approved by themselves or their aides. However, if you watch the series, you can definitely agree that there was footage that was flipped to give different angles to make Meghan and Harry appear as victims that fell into the hands of the paparazzi. The whole series gives us an impression that photographers covertly snapped the family at all times. However, witnesses and staff have come out to say that most of these photographers had actually been granted official access in advance so they could capture some sweet photos of the family. With the use of phony photos, Harry and Meghan even tried to convince us that they were all blindsided by the media consistently, when that wasn't even the case. Even if it felt like press intrusion to the couple, even if it was approved by Netflix, they have declined to comment on suggestions that a lot of the footage was misleading. But it's definitely for sure that the couple was smart by making the documentary with Netflix, is because they weren't bound by UK's broadcast standard codes, so they were allowed to use materials to mislead the audience. So with more episodes to still be released, we're definitely going to see a lot more manipulated stock images to illustrate the idea that the family was stalked by the paparazzi, which just isn't the case. And number 6, Harry Potter press photo. If we learned anything watching the first 3 episodes of the trailer, it was that the magic of editing can make anyone believe anything. However, when we all saw one certain black and white photograph, we all realized that the image of the paparazzi was taken out of context to portray the paparazzi as aggressive when it comes to the royal couple. However, the actual image was actually taken at a final Harry Potter premiere in 2011. However, when the photo appeared in both the trailer and the series, while Harry was saying he was trying to protect his family, he was implying that he was trying to protect his family from the press, and that this is a huge group paparazzi that was actually following them and his family. However, this premiere took place way before the couple even met. It's actually kind of embarrassing that Harry and Meghan would use this photo to kind of claim that they were being stalked by the paparazzi, as the photo actually came from a Harry Potter premiere that happened way before they even met. Also, I think it's worth mentioning, no member of the British royal family was even present at the 2011 premiere of Harry Potter, meaning that this photo shouldn't even been shown in the first place, as it has no context to. And number 5, not knowing who Harry was. What hasn't changed is that Meghan is still claiming she had no idea who Prince Harry was. In the very first episodes, it explored the early days of Prince Harry and Meghan's relationship, and the couple would reveal that they met in July of 2016. When Meghan posted a picture with her friend, they would call Meghan and say, "Between you and I thought you might want to know that being newly single and all, I put our Snapchat on Instagram and Prince follows me. He called me last night and he wants to meet you. Might have to set you up." However, Meghan had no idea who the prince was before the day, and she's been claiming for a while now that she never did any research on the Queen or her relatives ahead of meeting Harry. However, it was definitely all a lie, because it's been proven that Meghan was actually obsessed with Princess Diana. She even had books about her, and she was already acquainted with one of the York girls through Soho House. So to say that she had no idea and knew nothing about the royals had to be one of the biggest lies Meghan told. And number 4, race claims. Now, this document definitely laid out some new allegations about Harry's family's disapproval of Meghan due to the color of her skin. However, a lot of people aren't buying her claims of racism, because in the beginning, let's face it, everyone loved Meghan, including the press, until it started to surface how Harry and Meghan were mean to castle staff, and how they even made one secretary quit due to their rude behavior. And then the whole world, including the palace, started to turn on them. One expert, Angela Lavin, joined TMZ on Monday to break down the new trailer for Harry's and Meghan's new documentary, and she explained that the whole situation was just one giant BS story told from the Sussex's point of view to manipulate the world. Angela noted that she suspects that the couple keeps playing the racism card without pointing any fingers at anyone in the royal family, and without hard evidence, it's clear that it's all a lie. Harry has even said that there's been hierarchy of the family, and he claimed that they were always leaking stories about Meghan and him to support the family's ongoing conflict against Meghan. However, the real reason the family didn't approve of Meghan was because she was extremely rude to everyone, and there's even been clips posted by Daily Royal News where it showed Meghan being extremely rude to the Queen. And let's not forget all the staff leaking stories to the media about how they were treated by her. And number 3, Donald Trump's ex-lawyer. So now that the first 3 episodes of Harry's and Meghan's long-awaited Netflix documentary has finally been released, it has come under fire for using a lot of misleading videos and pictures. Also, let's not forget a lot of people even stopped watching the series 11 minutes in because they were super sick of all the BS stories that it was giving. One short clip that was meant to highlight the couple's continuous relationship with the media is actually a stock photo of Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, getting into a vehicle to be transported to prison on May 6, 2019. In the footage shown in the trailer, you could see the cameras around around the limo before it cut to a very tearful Meghan. However, experts would then point out that Meghan wasn't actually in the vehicle. Meghan and Harry are clearly impatient, and instead of trying to gather strong evidence to support their claims, they would try to manipulate footage to put blame on the royal family, and that just isn't right. And number 2, footage of Katie Price. While in the beginning of Harry's and Meghan's documentary, it definitely sparked fear among some of the royal family, as they were scared to see what Harry and Meghan would come up with that would damage the image of the family. However, with a bunch of exposed lies, all this film did was make the public hate Harry and Meghan even more. I think a lot of us raised our eyebrows when we spotted footage which appears to have come from Katie Price's court appearance. While Katie hasn't made a full comment of the clip, she did share a screenshot of a news report revealing that the footage was used from her trial onto her Instagram story, revealing that she indeed did spot the footage. Viewers have had a lot of mixed responses to spotting the moment in the trailer, with some even asking Netflix why they use so much misleading images and clips to mislead the public. One user even said, "What the heck, Netflix? This enrages me that you're using so many fake images to stoke feelings. Shame on you." And at number 1 today, they're the only ones that know the truth. Now, if you watch the trailer or the 3 episodes, then you know throughout the whole thing the couple has been trying to claim that they are the only ones that know their truth. However, their truth would definitely be exposed for the lies it was full of. After watching the 3 clips today, fans have already taken to the internet to start reviews, and a lot of them have been pretty sarcastic. When Harry and Meghan claim that there is a hierarchy of the family, a lot of us had a good chuckle. One user even wrote, "I love the part when after spending 39 years in the royal family, Harry realizes that there is a hierarchy." Netflix would also try to crop a photo of the royal family when they appeared on a balcony on Buckingham Palace. The photo was placed to look like Prince William and Kate Middleton were in the center of the photo. However, a newspaper noticed that the arrangement of the family that day is not as it seems, as it's actually Queen Elizabeth II that was in the center of the photo before it was cropped. In the aftermath of all these accusations, it's certain that the royal watchers will be closely dissecting and scrutinizing all of the footage to come, so more lies will definitely be released soon. However, the fact that Harry and Meghan were so determined to tell their truth that they were able to time travel to a Harry Potter premiere in 2011 and even be visited by Queen Mary in 1938, it was so courageous, and the fact that they thought they could use these facts to stand up to those that called them liars is truly concerning.
Kicking off our countdown list at number 10 is Lori Loughlin. The actress and mom was caught in a huge lie that had both her and her husband behind bars. Back in 2019, news broke that she had been caught in a college admissions scandal that involved her 2 daughters, $500,000, and forged test scores. All of these lies were told to try to get her daughter's early admissions into a very competitive school. She and her daughter even faked rowing pictures to try to make her profile better, even though she is not a rower. Like, at all. The truth all came out, and the entire family took the heat for these lies. Lori was given 2 months in prison and a $150,000 fine, 2 years of supervised release, and 100 hours of community service. Her husband received 5 months in jail, and her one daughter Olivia Jade, who's in the spotlight, faced a ton of backlash online and was dropped by a lot of her brand partnerships. Up next, number 9 is Bill Clinton. It was one phrase that he lied about constantly, and it was that lie that launched one of the biggest scandals in political history. The phrase being, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." It was his denial about having an affair on his wife Hillary Clinton with a White House intern named Monica Lewinsky. However, the truth came out and involved secret tapes and an ongoing sexual relationship between the two of them. It was his actions and his lie that led to his impeachment in 1998 for lying under oath. Bill and Hillary, who stayed together despite the affair, recently opened up about the scandal in a 2020 Netflix documentary called Hillary. In the documentary, he said the affair was a way of managing his anxieties, and the reason he lied was because of the risk. He admitted that he knew it was bad for his family, bad for the country, and bad for people who worked with him during that time. Some of them knew, y'all. Some of them knew, and they were too scared to tell anyone because they would lose their job. Would you tell? No. That's the President of the United States. I ain't telling shit if I work in the White House. Cruising into number 8, we have Paris Hilton. She's been in a few controversies throughout her career, but one of them led to her arrest. And it just so happened to be the one where she was caught in a bunch of lies. The lie came when she did an interview with Larry King and told him that she had never done illegal substances. She told him she took Adderall and explained that she has ADD and has to take it. However, that seemed to be a lie because in 2010 she was arrested in Las Vegas for having illegal substances in her possession. She was found in a car with her boyfriend at the time when officers saw smoke wafting from the car. They decided to investigate what was going on and they found more than they were expecting. She ended up pleading guilty to substance possession and obstructing an officer. She did not receive prison time, if you remember the story, but she did walk away with a hefty probation, community service hours, and a fine. Sniping the number 7 spot is Flo Rida. Back in 2014, he was facing a huge scandal in his career when his former assistant came forward claiming that he had underpaid her. A woman named Mahogany Miller sued him in 2012, claiming that he worked her to her bone for chump change and then fired her when she complained about the low wages. The lawsuit dragged on for more than 2 years, with the rapper claiming his innocence, lying and saying that her claims were not true. But apparently that was all just one big lie, and she had some evidence to back it up when it came to fighting this in court. She was his administrative assistant and said she worked 65 hours a week while being paid less than the minimum wage. Is that even legal? In 2014, he agreed to settle it and pay her just under $9,000 and then another $10,000 to her attorneys. Rolling into number 6, we have Steve Ranazizi. The comedian made one of the worst decisions in his career when he decided to lie about escaping the 9/11 attacks. The worst part was he kept up this charade for years until he got exposed. During interviews, he would often speak about how he followed his dream of being a comedian due to the terrifying events of that day. In 2009, he claimed he had been working for Merrill Lynch on the 54th floor of the South Tower when the first plane hit. He spoke in detail about what happened in that moment and everything that he remembered from that day. However, in 2015, evidence surfaced and proved that his story was a lie. There was no record of him ever working in the World Trade Center, and on that day, there was evidence that he was actually in Midtown. The comedian came forward admitting that he lied about the whole thing and said, "I was not at the Trade Center on that day. I don't know why I said this. This was inexcusable. I am truly, truly sorry." Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say. I don't know how you lie about something like that. And why. Anyways, I'll go on a rant. Taking the halfway point to number 5 is the writer James Frey. A report showed that James was caught lying to Oprah and to the readers of his memoir. James was caught lying about many events that were shared in his book, a book that was initially praised for its work on love, loss and addiction, all while being featured for a top pick on Oprah's book club. Though shortly afterwards, the public would later find out that James Frey made the entire thing up, leading for James's career to immediately take a turn for the worse as his agency dropped him and his publisher filed a class action lawsuit against him. Later, James was confronted by Oprah about his dishonesty, with Oprah confessing that she finds it difficult to even talk to him in the interview as she doesn't know what's the truth and what is false. Not to mention the millions of readers that were deceived by his untruthful writing. Moving on to number 4, we have Bow Wow. The American rapper was caught being dishonest when he posted an Instagram picture flexing his private jet and luxury lifestyle. But Bow Wow was spotted by a fellow passenger on a commercial flight in economy class. From connecting the dots, fans were able to trace down the original photo posted on Instagram of the private jet to the stock photo that a fan took on Snapchat and exposed him. After being called out for this, Bow Wow couldn't live it down and was mocked on social media, with the hashtag Bow Wow challenge trending all over Twitter afterwards, of people essentially posting side-by-side images, with the first one being seemingly glamorous and the second image showing the harsh reality. Now, there is nothing wrong with flying economy class, but like, why'd you feel the need to lie, man? Like, did you really think no one would see you on that flight? Taking the third spot on this list is Tiger Woods. Seeing Woods in controversial headlines is nothing new, but this lie was one of the biggest. During a golf tournament, Tiger Woods apparently had a disagreement with his opponent, Sergio Garcia. Later on in the match, Tiger Woods interacted with the course marshals, with the marshals giving Woods permission to swing, even though his opponent was supposed to be going first. This led to the distracting crowd impairing Sergio's game because of the noise that Woods sparked, though when the course marshals were asked about the incident and why it happened, they did not recall giving Woods permission to continue. This miscommunication led Tiger Woods to win the series, leaving a forever standing feud between the two players, as Sergio felt like he was at the major disadvantage due to Tiger's actions, which he kinda was. In recent interviews, Tiger Woods has actually admitted in multiple interviews about his deceptive behaviors, and even stated that he was living a lie and that he did this because he found it fun. Cruising through to number 2, we have the infamous Kanye West phone call to Taylor Swift. This crazy story starts with Kanye purposely leaking video and audio footage of the conversation that he had with Taylor over the phone. The leaked footage made it seem like Taylor gave full permission for Kanye to use the line, I quote, "I made that boop famous" in one of his new singles. But in reality, Kanye never actually read that line to Taylor, and he put the explicit lyric in his song without her consent. After Kanye leaked the edited conversation to the public, many people were quick to send Taylor Swift an absurd amount of hate, claiming that she was in the wrong because in the audio Kanye leaked, she was clearly fine with being mentioned in the song that way. Though nearly 4 years later, the truth would come out with the full unedited conversation being actually leaked, with this version showing the full story and how Taylor never actually gave permission to Kanye. And during their phone call, Taylor clearly felt uncomfortable when asked if it was okay if she would be mentioned in the song, but Kanye did not seem to care as he proceeded to make jokes about it. With the shocking news that Taylor was wrongfully accused this whole time and undeservingly given hate by millions of people on social media, many felt instant sympathy for her. I did, but I never believed Kanye anyway. And last but not least, taking our number 1 spot, we have the Tonya Harding incident. Tonya was a very successful competitive figure skater that was praised for her dedication and outstanding skills in figure skating. After being the best in her craft, she began to be challenged by Nancy Kerrigan. Nancy was a figure skater that had a long-standing rivalry with Harding, and it ended up being that Nancy was the one person in the way of Tonya making her way to the Olympic team. Tonya's greed for success led her to scheme against Nancy to hire a hitman to intimidate her with a club. The hitman acted accordingly and promptly hit Nancy on her knee, leaving Nancy injured and unable to compete. With a full investigation going on about the attack, the team behind the attack would confess in the planning behind it, though Tonya insisted to not be involved. Later on, Tonya and Nancy would compete against each other, and with Tonya being on the bad side of the karma, she ended up coming in 8th, while Nancy took 2nd place. In due course, after the competition, the evidence mounted against Tonya continued to grow, and she eventually pleaded guilty to the attack. Everyone was waiting for that, leaving her with her figure skating titles taken away from her, and she was banned from the USFSA forever.